Hello, hello, and welcome back to school and welcome back to Red Clay this month. I'm sure by now you're all used to watching our show, and some of you may be wondering, wait a minute, who is this lady and where is Dr. Conway? The answer's simple, I'm me and she's gone. But seriously, Dr. Conway has retired from Red Clay after many amazing years of service. I'm Dr. Amy Grundy, Director of Elementary School Operations, but today and in the future, I'll be your ever so humble host, and I'm very excited to be here doing so. Now, you may not be a fan of change, and this I completely understand. But we here believe that change can be a good thing. Right off the bat, you may notice something is very different. Yes, we have a monologue. And there's so many other great changes that you'll notice throughout this show as well. But I'm not one to ruin any surprises, so you will just have to stick around and check it out for yourself. So thank you for being with us today, friends. We have a great show for you today. Red Clay's liaison for special populations, April Anderson, is with us. We also have Red Clay's Teacher of the Year, Richard Weaver, plus some mandatory fun and so much more. So don't go anywhere, and let's get this back to school episode started.
So why are you excited to come back to school?
I'm so excited to see all new students and friendly faces.
Why are you excited to come back to school?
Because I want to meet my friends. Same thing, I guess. And I'm excited to go to a new school, actually.
Do you want the real answer or the PC answer?
Because school is awesome.
Why are you excited to come back to school?
I really love school. I mean, I love learning here. I love lunches here. I love recess. I love everything about school.
We've had a lot of together time, and it is really time for other people to be exposed to the greatness that is my son Harrison.
Why are you excited to come back to school?
Because I'm in a different classroom.
Are you excited to see your friends?
Yeah?
And to learn?
Mm-hmm.
And why are you excited to go back to school?
I'm not.
I'm excited just to continue learning and have a lot of friends and just continue my life on. Have the journey.
So why are you excited for back to school?
I'm excited to see the kids and have a great year with them.
I'm excited to get back on schedule and get out of all the worry about scheduling during the summer. So I'm excited to get back in schedule, and she's learning and back to normal.
Because I want to learn new stuff and learn new things.
Why are you excited to go back to school?
Because school's fun and I love learning.
I'm excited so they can learn and have a good year. They were very excited to come back. Autumn is going to 5th grade, so she's graduating this year, so we're excited.
Why are you excited to come back to school?
I am very excited to come back to school because I have recently saw my teachers, and I am very excited, and they seem really nice.
Gregor, why are you excited to come back to school?
Because most of my friends are here, and I'm excited to make new ones.
Why are you really excited for back to school? Why are you excited to come back to school?
Because we learn new and fun things.
Vacation for the parents.
Oh, Lord.
It's the honesty of some of the parents that I enjoy the most. But through it all, it seems that everyone in Red Clay is truly excited about the new school year, which is the perfect segue to our next guest, and one who I am so excited to sit down and talk with. She's an amazing person and a tremendous asset to our school district. Please welcome April Anderson. How are you? Thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Sure. So District Liaison for Special Populations.
Yes.
That's quite a title. Mm-hmm. What exactly does that mean?
So primarily I focus with kids that are experiencing homelessness, as well as our unaccompanied youth, homeless youth, and then all of our kids in foster care are all of the kids that I help connect to resources and services, both in the district as well as in the community.
Is that a large portion of our population?
So over the past 3 to 4 years, we've averaged about 300 to 25 to 350 families experiencing homelessness, and then about 50 to 75 students either going into care, exiting foster care, or currently in foster care.
All right, well, it's awesome that you're there to help them. So what does a typical day look like for you? And what does the beginning of the school year look like for you?
Well, just like everybody else, the beginning of the school year is super, super hectic. I'd say that I don't really have a typical day. Our liaisons, we connect with a lot of community agencies, outside agencies within Newcastle County, as well as in other counties within Delaware. We also do a lot of partnership and collaboration with other districts within not just Newcastle County, but also Sussex County and Kent. So any day I could be in Dover getting some professional development on how to support kids in foster care. I could be coordinating with other districts in regards to best interest meetings and what is going to be really in the best interest of our families and our students. And then I can even be working with shelters and meeting with families to connect on the resources also in the community. So every day is something different.
Yeah, and so truly every decision and meeting that you have is really about what's best for our kids.
Absolutely.
So what path did you take to get to this role today? Are you an educator by trade, or?
I would say that. I worked in education for as long as I can remember. I did, though, work before this as a visiting teacher in Red Clay. And one of the things that I found was a lot of the families and kids that struggled with absenteeism, some of them actually ended up being homeless. So I found that I was able to make connections with a lot of those families, connect them to resources that would support their housing instability. And then when the opportunity came to transition into this role, a lot of those relationships transferred right over. So that's kind of how that happened.
Okay, so what is your why? Like, why do you do what you do every day?
Well, I love really connecting with people and building relationships. And unfortunately, sometimes our families that are experiencing homelessness, they're very vulnerable. So, creating that trust, creating those relationships so they can be very transparent with their needs is something that we really need to do. So I really love being able to do that. And knowing that family circumstances are always changing, there's always someone every day that can need some support. So that's really why I do it.
So in a nutshell, your why is?
Support, I guess.
And that's, our kids and our families absolutely benefit from that. Shifting gears a little, define what equity means to you, and how does your role support our district core value of equity and diversity?
Well, I think when you're talking about families experiencing homelessness or even in kids in foster care, it really is about removing barriers to access. And with our families, just getting in the front door can be a challenge. So making sure that families have what they need to get into the door, whether it's supplies, uniforms, transportation, and then connecting them to appropriate supports within the building, that really is what I need to do to give them equitable access. So it's just making sure that every barrier is removed to the best of our ability so they can be as successful as possible.
I love that, yeah. We are in the business of removing barriers and providing opportunities for kids.
Absolutely.
So tell us something that has happened in your career in Red Clay that you're really, really proud of. Is there one particular situation or story that you recall?
You know what? Honestly, what I'm most proud of is that I am a product of Red Clay. I went to AI Middle School from 5th to 8th grade. I graduated from AI High School. So now being able to be in a position like this and give back to the schools and the community that I've been a part of for decades is really probably the thing I'm most proud of.
I think we may find that it's a theme that many of our guests have their roots in Red Clay, and many more people than we even realize. Very interesting. So what are some ways that schools are helping people who are experiencing homelessness and children in foster care? So beyond you, how do schools help to support your work?
Well, our schools in Red Clay are wonderful with providing exactly what kids need. We actually just had a professional development a little while ago where we really tried to highlight the importance of empathy. And I find that despite the resources that we can provide for our kids, having that understanding heart, being able to have a sympathetic ear when our families come to us when they're very vulnerable, I honestly am most proud of that. We have the resources where we can provide support, but without having the empathy, the resources are just going to stay where they are.
Empathy versus sympathy. Can you kind of tell us what the difference is?
So when I think of empathy, I know that there's a quote that talks about it's your pain in my heart. So being able to see a person's circumstances through their lens. Whereas sympathy is like, hey, how you doing? I feel sorry for you, but I'm going to kind of stay over here. So empathy is really what bridges that connection that we need to have between ourselves and the person that we're working with.
Yeah, that's really something important to ponder. Empathy is what we need to really be focused on. Sympathy won't get us where we need to be.
Exactly.
Interesting. So you've inspired a lot of people today. If someone wants to get more involved in helping the community and helping people who are experiencing homelessness, what can they do, the typical citizen?
Well, we just had, as I just said, our professional development, and one of the things we did was show 2 videos that allowed you to see homelessness through the lens of a child and then the lens of a parent. And that exact question was asked to the parents, and every single parent said, just don't judge. You know, our circumstances are always changing. A lot of times we didn't expect to be in that situation, but unfortunately the judgment is what creates that divide where we can't really provide the support that the families need. So I really think, you know, we have the resources to support our families. You can definitely volunteer in the community, but really making sure that we're empathetic to people's needs so that it removes any barrier that we might have internally or even within our buildings to really make sure that our families get the support that they deserve.
And that's tremendous advice. Don't judge, because I think sometimes our first thought may be to do just that. But if we're in tune with our first thought and then take your advice, I think we can definitely make progress in supporting all our students in Red Clay.
Yep.
Well, thank you, April, so much for
Sure.
taking time
Thank you for
out of your
having me.
schedule to be here. Stick around, because when we come back, we'll have the opportunity to talk to the Red Clay Teacher of the Year, Richard Weaver. We'll be right back.
What is it, Julia? Why are you so excited, honey? Hey, do you want to use your talker? With Julia's autism, using a talker can help her find the words she wants to say.
My dog.
You want to do something with Rose, Julia?
Play ball.
Do you want to play catch with Rose? I think Rose is excited to play catch too. Oh, Julia, you show us so many different ways to talk together. Oh, and play. Good catch, Rose. Okay, give Julia the ball. There you go. Okay, throw the ball, Julia. Oh.
For Julia's family, early screening for autism made a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
Okay, Julia, there you go. Whoa, another good throw. That's the way.
In Red Clay, there's more to being a school nurse than just giving out Band-Aids. Sure, we help prevent the spread of flu and other diseases, but did you also know that we work with physicians to coordinate care? We administer medication and manage chronic disease. We coordinate sports physicals and provide education to students, staff, and communities. We deal with stomach aches, brains, and nosebleeds. We conduct screenings for hearing, vision, and so much more. Plus, we document it all. And sure, we give out the occasional Band-Aid or two as well. Red Clay Nurses, keeping your kids healthy is what we do best.
Welcome back. In my monologue, I talked about some of the new things that would be on this show, and one of those is a segment that we like to call Red Clay, What Do You Say? So, what exactly is Red Clay, What Do You Say? Well, throughout the district, our kids make us smile and laugh every single day by saying some of the most outlandish things. And most of the time, they don't even realize that they have said something funny. For example, I was standing by the elevator on the 2nd floor in one of our elementary schools, and I was talking with a 3rd grade student named Michael, who innocently stated when the elevator door opened, "I knew we had an elevator on the 1st floor, but I had no idea we had one on the 2nd floor." Aww. Pretty cute, huh? Here's another one. A librarian shared that a student brought the book that she had recently signed out back to the library, and she exclaimed, "This book is broken." The librarian asked, "What do you mean, broken?" To which the student replied, "All the pages are stuck together." Sounds broken to me. So I ask you, teachers, staff, parents, siblings, if you've heard something fun or cute from a Red Clay student, or anyone for that matter, something that makes you smile, email us at edtvstuff@gmail.com. And on the next show, we'll share our favorites on Red Clay, what do you say? Heck, include a photo too. We'd love to see who's behind the quote. Speaking of something that makes us smile, every year we look at our teaching staff and we're just amazed at the outstanding work and the talent and what they do each and every day. It's pretty magical. We then try our best to whittle that extensive list to just a few teachers that we nominate for our Red Clay Teacher of the Year. And trust me, folks, this is not easy. But we did come to a decision, and I'm happy to say that our winner is here with us today. So it is my pleasure to welcome to our stage Red Clay's newest Teacher of the Year, Richard Weaver.
Great, how are you?
Great, thank you so much for being here today.
Not a problem. I mean, you've got me thinking here now. If our school has an elevator on the second floor too, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Check it out and let me know. So Teacher of the Year for the largest school district in the state. What does it feel like? Is it a lot of pressure?
Yeah, you know, it's actually a little more pressure than I thought it would be. First off, I was just humbled and surprised when I found out that I was selected as Teacher of the Year. It was the day after the band concert. You know, we were putting everything away in the band room, and I saw everyone walking down the hallway from the district office with you guys, and yeah, I'm still shocked, honestly. I still can't believe it. So it feels great to represent Red Clay because we are, you know, one of the higher quality school districts in the state, and we're always pushing for success for our students. So yeah, there's pressure that goes with that, but it's good pressure.
And as I recall, the day you found out that you were the District Teacher of the Year was another special occasion as well.
Yeah, it was my birthday. It was my 39th birthday last year.
Perfect timing, perfect
Exactly.
timing. So similar to our last guest, I understand you're a product of Red Clay Schools?
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about your beginnings.
Oh, I guess my journey began PM kindergarten, Miss Perko's class at Baltz.
PM kindergarten.
Now we have full day kindergarten. It was only in the afternoon then. But Baltz, then I went to Conrad for 6th grade. Cab Calloway opened up the following year, so I went to Cab Calloway 7th and 8th grade. I was a Wilmington High Red Devil my 9th grade year, and then I went to AI DuPont 10 through 12.
Were you in the band at AI DuPont?
Yep, yes I was. I wanted to go to AI DuPont because my friend was going there, and his brother was in the band, and he was telling me all about it. So yeah, I was in the band. I played bass drum at AI.
Excellent. So over the course of your school career, is there a teacher or a mentor that you recall that really inspired you or motivated you to become a teacher?
Yeah, I mean, there are a handful, and then two really stand out, and the biggest one would probably be actually my old band director, Paul Peretz.
Okay.
He was also a Red Clay Teacher of the Year and went on to be State Teacher of the Year. He just inspired me in so many ways. That my freshman year, I thought I was going to AI DuPont. It was the first year of choice in Red Clay.
Okay.
And then we found out that students in the Wilmington High feeder pattern, we didn't have our 3 years of schooling in the city with busing. So I ended up having to go to Wilmington High, which is great. I met a lot of friends there and had a great experience with Mr. Tharp, who was my band director at Wilmington High.
So Mr. Peretz was one.
Yep, Mr. Peretz was one. And so when I ended up going back to AI to turn in my uniform that first year, AI was playing the halftime show for the Philadelphia Eagles and the Giants up at the Meadowlands.
Oh, how exciting.
Yeah, and I turned in my uniform and he said, well, aren't you going to need that this weekend? I said, Mr. Pretz, I don't go to school here anymore, you know? And he said, well, you know, keep it until after this weekend. You earned this one. So this guy who really had no idea who I was cared enough to include me in that trip. Mm-hmm. And, you know, ever since then, he went to my concert at Wilmington High School and we became friends. So he was somebody who really inspired me. The second one would be my old wrestling coach. He's no longer with us, but Tommy Hogan. He really, between Mr. Pretz and Mr. Hogan, let's just say I wasn't the best student. I was a little troublemaker from time to time, and they straightened me out. And I wouldn't be where I am today without those two.
That's awesome. And Mr. Hogan definitely has a special place in a lot of people's hearts here in Red Clay.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, that's
yes,
really special. So think about this season is very busy for you, but what's a typical day like for a band director, especially in the fall, or a typical week, because I'm sure it's just jam-packed?
Well, it's like my wife says, she'll get used to being a band director wife soon. The fall is just always busy and filled with things. My day started today, first period band going outside to practice for our football game this weekend, and all the locks had been changed on the football stadium, so I couldn't get into the football stadium.
Do you think they did that intentionally?
I think they knew, yeah, they did that intentionally. I don't think they're going to give me a key, but so we went over to the soccer field and we practiced over there. But
Was it different lines, or did it?
It was different lines. It messed
Okay.
things up a little bit, but we only had half an hour, so we had to get things done. Monday nights we usually have practice from 7 to 9 at night. We don't do it right after school because a lot of the students in our band still play sports. A lot of members of the field hockey team, soccer team, cross country, volleyball. So they go after school from 2:30 till 5:30. They
Are you
grab a quick
supportive
bite
of
to eat.
that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We're not a competitive band, so we're able to
Okay.
do that. We're not practicing 3 nights a week and going to competitions and football games. That's great if you are. It's just kind of hard to balance so many different activities. And one of the best parts about AI DuPont is that you can be in the band and play sports and be involved in tons of clubs and activities.
Which, I think is pretty incredible, because that makes kids connected to their school. So good stuff.
Absolutely. Great
Good.
kids.
Have you ever had, as a high school band director, a student who has never played an instrument before come and express interest? And are you able to take that into your...
Yeah, that happens more than people think, especially at AI DuPont. Thinking back to when I was a student and thinking back now. We had a friend in high school, and Steve, he had never played an instrument, but we were all in band. It was the cool thing to do. We were taking trips, we're going to football games, we're hanging out in the band room during lunch.
A very spirited bunch.
Yeah, they're great. So, Steve came, he wanted to play saxophone because his friend Brett played saxophone. So he kind of learned after school and just jumped right in. And Mr. Pretz was always supportive of that. I've always been supportive of that. And it's not just ninth graders. This year we got a couple seniors who are starting out who have never played before. But again, there's a big social aspect of band as well that is really positive. It really promotes student cooperation. It promotes teamwork and leadership. So when students say, hey, I got a friend who wants to be in band, I say, bring them. We'll teach them something other than drums, because there's always a million drummers.
So you believe with hard work?
Yes,
Lots of
absolutely.
practice.
With hard work, lots of practice. The internet, there are so many good resources on YouTube for teaching beginning students how to play that we never had growing up. So there's no excuse. If you want to play an instrument, whether you're in 4th grade just starting out or you're a senior in high school, pick up an instrument and play. There's no reason not to be in band.
As Teacher of the Year, what is your platform or what you want to communicate to the general public about education, especially from your role and your perspective?
With my platform here, it's really about what I'm doing. So oftentimes we're looking at schools, and at AI DuPont, something that Mr. Cressy likes to say is, we're not just a test score. Math is important, English is important, all classes are important, we understand that, but far too often we're just comparing schools based off of those 2 subject areas, SAT scores. A lot of what the students learn behind the scenes happens in clubs, it happens in sports, it happens in activities. So what I want to do is just promote student leadership through clubs, sports, and activities. What other opportunities can we provide students where they can get involved? How do we give them ownership of something, whether it's a t-shirt design, determining a season schedule with, there's one extra week where we want to add another school. Do we want to go play a school that's local? Do we want to go far away? Do we want to take a band trip to Virginia? Do we want to go to New York? Just giving students that ownership makes them buy in more. And also, it lets us know what they want. If we were playing music that I'd want on the field, most of the kids probably wouldn't like it and they wouldn't do it. So that's why we elect the student leadership. We let their peers elect them.
Yep.
And then they determine what music they're playing. They determine the trips we're taking. They're helping with show design. One of our drum majors came up with a routine yesterday. We were practicing that at our marching band show, or at our marching band practice. So it's really important to give them ownership and let them learn leadership. What's right, what's wrong, what works, what doesn't.
Yep, I agree. Leadership, a critical skill for kids,
Absolutely.
Red Clay graduates, to leave us understanding what it means to be a positive leader. Absolutely. Last question, advice for a brand new teacher. We have over 300 new teachers here in Red Clay, and if you were to run into them in the hallway, what would be your wise piece of advice for a brand new teacher?
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming. Really what it comes down to is...
Leave it to the music teacher to sing his advice.
Hey man, I love Finding Nemo.
Well, go ahead.
I would say just remember why you became a teacher.
Right.
There's a lot in the beginning. It's overwhelming. It's kind of like a new student learning a band instrument. All right, I'm giving you a lot of information, but you need to just take your time, take it chapter by chapter. There's a whole lot behind the scenes that people don't know about teachers. You know about that firsthand. Right. Tons of paperwork, filling out this form, that form, watching these training videos. Don't forget why you became a teacher. You didn't become a teacher to do all that. You became a teacher to influence students' lives, and that's important, and that's something that we need to remember, because that's what makes us get up every day.
Yep.
We're shaping children's lives.
Right. The additional stuff is part of it, but you're right. Absolutely remember your why. There is no more tremendous, hard work, impactful work than what you and the teachers at Red Clay do every day. So we really do appreciate what you do. And congratulations on being Teacher of the Year, but don't go anywhere yet. You know, Mr. Weaver, anyone who knows me knows that I like to put a little fun into everything I do. And you're the first to be part of this new segment called Dr. Grundy's Mandatory Fun.
Dr. Grundy's Mandatory Fun.
Now, you might not really want to participate, however, it's mandatory. So, with that, we're going to play Red Clay Red Hot Questions, where we get to know you just a little bit better. So I'm going to put 30 seconds on the clock, and I'm going to ask you rapid fire questions, and I want you to answer with the first thing that comes to mind.
Oh, gosh.
Keeping in mind that this is family TV.
Keep it PG. Gotcha.
Keep it G.
Keep it G.
Keep it G.
Oh,
so
man,
here
that's
we
tough.
go. 30 seconds on the clock, please. All right, Richard. If you had $1,000 to spend on yourself, how would you spend it?
A cymbal, a drum set cymbal.
A cymbal. A drum set cymbal. Yeah, no, that's not how I would do it, but okay. Is there a movie that you can quote?
Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
I'm going to guess Forrest Gump. What was your nickname growing up?
Rich.
Rich,
Yeah.
okay. Your first job of all time?
Wilmington Blue Rocks. I started working in the parking lot out there, and I stayed and did other jobs with the Blue Rocks.
All right, very nice. What's an app that you cannot live without?
My band tuning app to get the band into.
All right, give it up for Mr. Rich Weaver, participating in Mandatory Fun. Very much appreciated. But before you go, we here at Red Clay this month have a new tradition that we're starting today. We want to give special recognition as a token of our appreciation to someone who goes above and beyond for the students of Red Clay. So Rich, I'm pleased to present you with the first Red Clay Apple Award for Outstanding Teacher.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So thank you for joining us today. Once again, congratulations on being Teacher of the Year. And stay with us as we welcome our next guest. We'll be right back.
School. It is often considered the safest place for our children. We know where they are and trust that they are in good hands. However, before they arrive, our child's day begins and ends with a short journey on a school bus. They travel on their all too familiar roads, their minds afforded the time to daydream, play, or rest. So when other motorists frequently ignore the laws, like failing to stop when the school bus's red lights are flashing and the stop arm is extended, this can happen. In the past decade, over 300 school-age children have been killed in transportation-related crashes. That is over 300 too many. Do not rush the red. Failing to do so puts precious lives at risk. As a country, we need to do better. We must keep our children safe.
Welcome back. You know, during the school day, your kids are under the best care here in Red Clay schools. But for many, who are the first people that your kids see when they leave the comforts of home? And who are the last people they see at the end of the school day? Is it their teacher? Nope. Is it their administrator? Nope. Give up. How about our illustrious transportation team of bus drivers? That's who it would be. That's the correct answer. And lucky for us, we have one of those amazing individuals here with us today. So please give a warm welcome to Mr. Eddie Jones.
How are you?
Hi, Eddie. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It's so nice to meet you. So first, we're going to get to know a little bit about Eddie. Where did you grow up?
In Wilmington, Delaware.
And where did you go to school?
I started off elementary at Linden Hill in Warner Elementary.
Okay.
Then I went to Cab Calloway for middle school, and I did a year there, and then I finished up at Skyline Middle, and then for high school I went to AI High School.
Excellent, excellent. So how long have you been driving for our district?
10 years.
10 years, that's impressive. What bus do you drive and what schools do you serve?
I drive 322. I service Forest Oak Elementary, Forest Oak Meadowwood,
okay.
McCain High School, McCain Meadowwood, and HB Meadowwood and HB Regular.
So morning and afternoon?
Yes.
So how many miles do you think you cover over the course of a day or a week or just an estimation?
Course of a day is about 70 miles.
Oh, wow. Okay, and then I could probably do the math to work that up. So what time does your day start and what time does your day end?
My day starts at 6 a.m. and I usually end around 5 p.m.
Oh, wow, very long day.
Yes.
So do you do anything in the middle of the day related to Red Clay Transportation?
Yes. In the middle of the day I work with the Meadowwood Transition Program.
Okay.
As an extra support personnel, which is basically a paraprofessional.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
I do that, do job coaching with them and life skills.
Okay. Okay. So what is your favorite part? What's most rewarding about what you do every day? As the bus driver, first and foremost, and then during the school day as well.
Most rewarding is seeing the smiles on the faces when they see me in the morning, and within being in the classroom. Definitely the smiles again, their growth, and being able to see them graduate.
Mm-hmm. So how do you build relationships with the kids? Is there something special that you do, or does it just come naturally because of that smile?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, getting to know the children. You know, as a driver, meeting them first thing in the morning, learning body language, to know when a child is upset or sad. And once you learn that child, or learn that individual, that basically will give you the tools that you need to be successful. I mean,
do you know all the students' names?
Yes. If I don't know them by the first or second week, I pretty much can get them all. By the third or fourth week, I pretty much know everybody's face.
And then some of them just become honey,
Yep.
darling,
Yep.
babe, whatever nickname might work for them. So, what would you tell someone who's thinking about becoming a driver? It's incredibly important work because it truly is the anchor of a school day. So, what would you tell somebody?
If someone were to become a driver, I would definitely say, first and foremost, make sure you're a people person.
Yeah.
You love children. You can deal with multiple personalities. And just being focused, caring, loving, and definitely responsible.
Yes, because there's more to the job than building the relationships. That's a critically important piece of the job. But what kind of training and skill set do you need to have to be able to drive a school bus? Because it's not the average citizen with a driver's license that can just drive a school bus, is it?
No.
Okay, so what kind of training?
There is several training. There's a multiple written test, computer test. Then there's a road test, and there's also, because you got to learn the engine compartment, so it's not for...
They actually make you look under the hood of the bus?
So a lot of people think, oh, I'm just going to go drive. Okay, you can come drive. But you need to learn multiple key things that are in the bus, inside the bus, outside the bus, and underneath the hood.
And so once you pass the test and you know what's underneath the hood, do they just give you the keys and say, have at it?
Nope.
Then what?
Then now you got to take a road test. You got to learn. You also have to parallel park a bus. It's not an easy task.
I would imagine that wouldn't be. That almost scares me just sitting here.
So you definitely have to parallel park. You have to know all, different road procedures, and really.
When you practice that parallel park, is there cones or do they put two people's cars there?
Cones.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Just checking. So how do you keep kids safe on your bus? Do you have any special expectations or how?
Keeping kids safe, like again, definitely knowing their needs.
Yes.
Making sure you get to know the child so that they're able to talk to you if there's anything wrong. Making sure you have all the proper safety precautions on the bus. And definitely.
What are some protocols that transportation has in place that you have to follow to keep kids safe?
Oh, so every morning we do a pre-trip,
Okay.
which consists of checking all the lights, checking all the signals, checking the horn, checking all the doors, checking all the tires, making sure everything is in working condition. And if it's unsafe, instantly it's taken off the road.
Well, that's good. So what, for the people who are watching this show, what do people need to know as they're on the road with the school bus? What's important for everybody to keep in mind for safety purposes?
Being patient.
Uh-huh.
You have a lot of drivers on the road that as soon as those red lights come on, they want to hit the gas. That's not the answer. You see the red lights come on, please slow down, be patient. And it's funny because 80 to 90% of the people that are rushing have just put their children on the bus.
Right.
They didn't rush to do that. So
That's a very good point. Something for people to remember. And you're right, it is sometimes frustrating for probably the average citizen, but you have to remember, these are children, our most precious cargo. So that's great advice, be patient. And so the arm on the bus is the clear indicator that the bus is going to stop.
It's going to stop.
What about railroad tracks?
Railroad tracks, we do pull over. We pull over to the side, we turn our hazards on, we open our door, we check to listen to make sure no trains are coming, just in case the signals are malfunctioning. And that's another thing about, since we're pulled over, then you have that line of cars that was dying to get past you. They don't want to let you back in. You know, now it's unsafe for us getting back over with children on the bus. And that's another thing, just when you see a bus pulled over at the railroad, just slow down, you know. You know that bus pulled over for a second, but it's coming right back over.
Right. So your first bit of advice is just the words to live by, be patient.
Yes.
Yep, absolutely. So on another note, what is your personal mantra? What words do you live by every day?
My personal mantra, like I always tell people in the morning, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm smiling, and people are like, why are you so happy? I said, you only live once, and every day is a holiday.
That's great advice. Those are absolutely words to live by. Yep, choose a positive attitude each day because you live once, and every day's a holiday. Good stuff. And then my last question for you is, outside of your career, what are things that Eddie likes to do?
I love working on cars.
Okay. So this was a good career choice for you.
Yes. And home decor, decorating, renovating.
Okay, all right. A little do-it-yourself?
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Eddie, thank you so much. It's been my pleasure to get to know you, and I really appreciate you being here today.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you to all of our guests today. April Anderson, the District Liaison for Special Populations, Red Clay Teacher of the Year, Richard Weaver, and thank you to our viewers. We couldn't do this show without you. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Red Clay This Month. Each month, I'll leave you with a quote. Nelson Mandela was spot on when he said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." Thank you, and we'll see you next month.